Welcome to an IEXIST podcast. Our entire mission can be summed up in one phrase: becoming all that we are. It is our belief that fulfillment doesn't come from changing into things you aren't, but rather from becoming everything that you already are. And ultimately, we're here to press and empower you to lead lives that are full of fulfillment. We've dedicated this specific podcast to the dream, not to having the dream or even talking about the dream, but to living the dream. The reality is that there's a stark difference between having a dream and manifesting one. Here you'll gain insight and wisdom keys directly from some of the water walkers of our generation, dream practitioners, those who have decided to tread paths where there were none, to step out into only what they could see. Come take a peek into the minds of some who, from within, create our world's most magnificent realities. I'm the creator and host, Brian Farr, and this is the Living the Dream podcast. All right, hello and welcome to episode 25 of Living the Dream, the podcast. I am your host, Brian Farr. I want to thank you for joining me today, no matter who you are, no matter where you are. I appreciate the love and the support to those who appreciate and love what it is that we do. If you want to support, you can do that in a number of ways. Number one, you can just do it by sharing. Honestly, just letting your friends, your family, other people who you feel may get something from these podcasts, if you would share it with those people, that would mean so much to us. And it would also help us spread these messages, push these messages, this information as far as it can go to help us continue to positively affect the world around us. That is our desire. Number two, the second thing you can do is to partner with us financially, which will be another way to help us continue to push this information as far as it can go. You can do that by becoming a monthly partner at patreon.com. That's patreon.com/Brian Farr. That's BRYANPHARR. There's different levels or different degrees to which you can partner. And there's also added benefit for doing so if you choose to, and we appreciate that in advance. Thirdly, what you can do is to simply leave a rating and also a message potentially of how this podcast has helped you or affected you. And you should have access to do that on the podcast listening platform of your choice, whether it's Apple or Google or Amazon. There should be a place where you can leave a rating. Hopefully it's a 5-star one, but if not, let us know how you feel, and thank you in advance for that. All right, so jumping straight into what I want to talk about today, I want to start by reiterating an idea that if you were to compare this life, your life, to a race, that this would not be a race that could be won by you becoming the fastest runner. And that's because you aren't in competition with any of the other runners, which means anybody else you know. And if you are, you shouldn't be. And truthfully, you're disqualifying yourself from being able to properly run your own race if you think that way. Your race would also not be won by you bulking up and becoming the strongest runner. That would just be another competitive angle that would honestly only distract you from the quality that you would need to produce in order to truly win your race. And that quality is endurance. This is not a race of strength, nor is it one of speed, but it is one of endurance. Always remember that. Your life's race is not about getting somewhere faster than someone else or getting to success, for instance, faster than the next man. Nor is it about building a bigger success than the next man. Because again, those are two competitive angles that might do more to distract you and to get you off course than anything else. This is a race of endurance. You running your own race is about you versus you and you being in shape to endure, to be effective in the long run. These are things that you learn after living for a while, because after being alive for at least a considerable amount of time, small amount of time, you begin to realize that if you're going to do things the right way, and that's key here, make sure you put a pin in that. If you're going to do it the right way, success, glory, fame, particularly substantive fame or fame that has substance attached to it, where you made a mark, changed lives for the better, having fame for those reasons. Those are not overnight transactions, but they come from a consistent pressing toward great things. And the keywords there, again, are consistent pressing, which means that you have to endure in order to fully see those things through, in order to truly see those things manifest. If you want to do it the real way, it's going to take some time. Not the shortcut taking, I can build it faster than you, I can build it bigger than you, all the while skimping on the materials, trying to cheat the process, killing, cheating whoever you can along the way in order to do so. Way, not that way. But the real way is going to take some time, and it only comes by endurance. This is why I've said in the past publicly through my social media that oftentimes the question that we should be asking of others who have succeeded is not how to win, but we should ask them how to lose. And that's because that if you want to endure, you're going to have to learn how to fail or lose and continue to get back up over and over again, because this is not a short-term thing. This is an endurance race. You should not be concerned about how is it going to feel when I win? What does it feel like? And I'm not saying you shouldn't be concerned about that at all, because winning does have its side effects that you should really know about if you can beforehand. But you should also, just as importantly, be asking, what is it like to lose? What does it feel like? What mentality, what mindset should I have when it does happen? Because it's going to happen. How do I get up and continue to endure, to walk on, to travel on, to continue to be consistent in the midst of failure? Because that's what you need to know. I believe most importantly, because the wins are big when you're going about this the right way, but the failures are many. So you're going to have to be comfortable for a while with maybe only producing failures. And I can tell you this from my own experience. I don't call them failures. I don't encourage you to do so. Maybe lessons is better. Whatever the truth is for you, all I know is you lose along the way, and you lose a lot in order to win. So you need to be comfortable with that and learn how to endure despite all of the failure, all of the loss. It's the only way to win. And it's not just about taking losses in one single area of your life. Normally, when we mention a word like success, people believe it's only monetary, but that's not true. It is relational. It is monetary. It is health, having to do with your physical body, things like that. But you have to learn to lose in all areas, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to lose in all areas, whether you want to or not. You're going to grow and you're going to lose at the same time. So to be able to continue on anyway is a skill you must have in order to win. Back to my initial point, it's going to take a long time. And I know you may be uncomfortable with that, because in a day in which you see viral sensations all the time and people seemingly blowing up overnight, which sometimes it does happen that way. What we don't consider, though, is that many times not everybody's ready to blow up and it affects them negatively. They don't mean to, it just happens. Other people blow up trying to go viral, cutting corners and things like that, get there and don't last because they have not cultivated their endurance. They were not ready. And this is why I'm talking about going about it the real way. This is going to take a long time if you want those things cultivated, if you want maturity to be cultivated in your life, if you want to be able to last at all. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a lot of reps. It's going to take a lot of practice. It's going to take a lot of going through losses and gains. That's why this is going to take a long time. It's just the process. You don't become Martin Luther King overnight. You don't become the Dalai Lama or Nelson Mandela or many famed people of all nationalities, religions, beliefs, colors, what have you. If you can name them, and they had a significant, weighty, substantive success, wealth, worth in this world, it did not come easy or overnight. And that's what I can guarantee you. Because again, this takes a long time. Now, because this thing is going to take a long time, you can be left in many seasons at many junctures of your life asking a particular question. And that question is, where is it? And that it is going to vary from person to person depending on where you are in your journey and what exactly it is that you're looking for. And I'll reiterate this also. Success always looks different for every single person. You cannot define success by a particular thing. which is why I gravitate to the idea that success is when you're able to get what's on the inside to manifest itself on the outside of you, to be able to take it from invisible to visible in this world, in this life, from your imagination into everyday life. That is what success is. So that it is going to vary, again, depending on where you are and what it is that you're looking for. But we often ask ourselves this throughout life simply because it takes a long time for us to receive the things that we're looking for, whether it is wealth, whether it is purpose, or sometimes it's love or meaning or companionship or partnership or a breakthrough of some type into a new, better version of you, a new, better season of your life, healing or health. All those things and more are particular things that we can be looking for at different junctures, at different seasons, at different times in our lives. Again, it's going to be predicated upon what you consider success to be at a certain time and place in your own life. And I think those of us who talk, those of us who teach often do many of you a disservice by not talking about having patience and endurance because of how long it can sometimes take to see those things manifest in your life. It's not an overnight thing. You have to learn, you have to grow, you have to become, you have to be able to handle the things that you're even wanting to come into your life. And that's going to take a strength and a resilience and a confidence and a maturity, among other things, that you just don't start off with. You have to gain those and grow along the way in order to handle the many things that you're even asking for. Many of the things you're asking for are not just rewards, they're responsibilities. And if you don't even learn to see them that way, you're going to mishandle them when they come, which is why I brought up earlier. A lot of people are not ready to blow up, cut corners, do blow up, and then are not prepared to handle what comes along with that, and often will kill themselves behind the success that they were not prepared to handle. We see this all of the time, and I'm telling you where it comes from. It's not being willing to go through certain processes in order to do things the right way, and that's not what I want for you. So I'm telling you it's going to take a long time, but that's okay. What you need to know when you're on your journey and things seem to be taking a little too long is that those things that you're looking for are on the way. Now, right here, before I dive any deeper into what I mean, we have to acknowledge that there is a way, that you just can't go about this thing in any type of a way. And I've already spoken on it so much in this podcast already. I've spoken about it in the last 4 podcasts specifically. And truthfully, it's been sprinkled throughout all of the podcasts, all of the episodes thus far in some type of way. But there is a way of going about this thing, of going about living this life's journey, or of going about getting success or being able to live life fulfilled, not with just the feeling of it, but of fulfilling your actual destiny. And I'll actually refer you to Killing the Climb. I believe that's episode 21. If you have not listened to that already, I go in depth about the way of success. So let's acknowledge that there is a way. First, when you hear me say it's on the way, or the things that you're looking for, they're on the way. Secondly, what we're going to have to acknowledge is the fact that if you are standing, waiting for those things to enter into your life, then you're going to be waiting for forever. You see, there are 2 categories of people in this world today who are asking, where is it? You know, where's that dream home? Where's that dream family? Where's that dream job? Where's that dream business? Where's that dream book? Where's my health? Where's my wellness? Where's my money? And this first group, or this first type of person, has simply grown weary from their journey. They've grown tired from traversing and failing and falling and losing and having to get back up and continue on and going through cycles of this same process over and over again, little bit by little bit, taking steps. And you've made some progress, but there are certain things that you continue to look for because it's almost as if it's taking, again, too long for it to come into your life, for it to manifest. And then there's another group of you, a second group, who I believe actually take up the high majority, who are waiting for certain things to come into your life that you're not actively pursuing. And I put out a quote on my personal social media recently that sort of emphasizes what I'm saying. It says that you won't change where you are by just standing there. Change requires change. What I want to zoom in on within that quote is that you won't change where you are by just standing there. that in order to see change, you have to initiate change. Meaning if you want to change your position in life, whether it is concerning your health, concerning your wealth, concerning your relationships, etc., you won't change it by just standing there. You have to get out of the position that you're in and begin to move towards what it is that you're after. And that is the primary difference between the two groups. Some of you are just standing there, waiting on something to happen, waiting for all of the things that you want to see in your life to just magically appear. There are a lot of you that want to write a book that just feel like it's going to appear someday, or that something's going to jump on you, and somehow all of the provision is made for you to write it and market it in the way that you want to without ever having to seek out what you need and things like that and ways for it to be done. There are others of you who are just waiting for weight to fall off of you, for you to just all of a sudden become healthy, for health to manifest fully in your life without any life change, without any mindset change, without any responsibility or requirement on your end. And faith, which is what you'll need to see anything come from the invisible into the visible in your life. It's what you need to see anything manifest in your life, does not work that way. As much as you may consider the word faith to be a religious word or whatever, something that you may not be used to acknowledging or saying, it is a requirement for manifestation in your life of whatever the dream is. Elon Musk needed faith. Mark Zuckerberg needed faith. Bill Gates needed faith. Walt Disney, or whoever else you can think of that become the easy to think of, to see markers because of their greatness, who manifested something that was invisible into their own lives, into the world around them that affects us all. They needed faith. That's not religion. It was the belief that what they saw in their minds was so possible, was so real, that they could transfer it, again, from their minds, from their imagination, into their reality in this world. That's faith. So one group is just tired and weary from their journey, from having to wait so long. And they're asking, where is it? Because right now in their mind, they don't know how long they can last. And the other group is just stagnant. And you're asking, where is it? Because you don't know how success works. You don't know how faith works. You don't know that faith does work. It's not an element of just some type of belief that stays stagnant. Your belief actually shapes your behavior. And if you really believed you could have something, I would see you moving towards it, because that's what belief actually does. Non-movement faith or non-moving faith is not faith at all. So if you are stagnant, what you possess cannot be called real faith, because it doesn't work that way. Faith moves you first. An example came to my mind that I thought was so unique, but one that is so accurate. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you'll remember this, but most of you may be able to reference in your mind those old first wave of Mario games that came out on like the original Nintendo game system that had like 2 buttons and a directional pad. Super Mario back then was 2D, which meant that technically you could only move back and forward from left to right, and the game would actually only allow you to go back for as much of the screen as you could see in that moment, but it would continually be moving forward. And if you have not seen this gameplay or anything like that, just look it up on YouTube. I'm very certain there's probably some video of somebody beating that game in like 10 minutes or something like that. I don't know. But let's imagine that Mario, the main character from the game, saw success in general, his whole life's purpose and mission, as getting the love of his life back from Bowser, who's the arch nemesis of Mario, who just seemingly wants to steal his girlfriend, who was the princess, and force her to be in a relationship with him for the rest of their lives or something. And there's probably some gaps missing in there. I'm not really certain what he wanted to do, but I'm pretty sure he just enjoyed the idea of ruining Mario's life no matter how that happened. So let's say that's his entire life's mission, to get his girl back so that he can be with her, which from the gameplay, that seems that that's all his life mission is about. But he knows he has a long journey in front of him. He knows Bowser, his arch nemesis, has an entire army of imps and adversaries that he's going to have to fight in order just to get to Bowser. And then it's going to be an entirely different fight even after getting to him. Now, let's use real gameplay, because the fact of the matter is that he even has to fight Bowser numerous times within the game before he can ultimately get his princess. So he's got a long journey ahead of him. And he's going to need tools. He's going to need power. He's going to have to be able to endure. He's going to need a host of skills and even help in order to get his job done, to fulfill his purpose. And he starts this journey by himself. Now, there's two things he can do. He can either stand there and say, I have a long journey ahead of me. I want so much stuff. I want this beautiful life in a castle with a princess of my own, where we'll live happily ever after and serve her kingdom with joy and humility. But I'm going to stand here and wait till I have the strength that I need. I'm going to wait till the help that I need comes, because I see this is going to be a long, tough journey. So I'm just going to kind of stand here and wait for it to come. And then I'll begin to walk. I'll just wait till I'm smart enough, or till I feel confident enough, or till I have enough cosigns or enough people agree with me and tell me that they believe in me, because my dream is big and I can't do it without those things. So I'll just sit here and I'll wait until it comes into my life, and then I'll do everything I need to do. Either he could do that, or he could realize that everything he needed and is going to need is on the way. He'll get it on the way there, on the way to the princess, on the way to the bosses or the battles that he has to fight. Everything he needs is going to come while he's on the way. Now, if you remember the gameplay, it's not until you start moving, until you see all of the tools that you need. There was power on the way when he needed it in order to fight his enemies more effectively. There was provision on the way in case he needed coins that would add to his life in some type of way. He needed them, but they didn't come to him before he started his journey. And this is the difference that I'm marking between the two groups of people. Again, the second being the high majority. One group of you is just tired from having so many battles to fight, and you aren't sure that you're going to make it because it seems like you've gone through a lot before you could get to that princess, if we're going to continue to use that example. But then there's others of you who will never get to see the destiny if you do not begin to understand that everything that you need is on the way. Now, the amazing thing is, in later versions of the game, after it became like Mario 64 and things like that, there were points in the game that Mario could actually become exhausted, and he would have to sometimes rest in order to regain health, specifically when doing things like swimming, and there was only so long he could hold his breath and things like that. But I'm using that to say that it is possible to just sometimes get weary or even lose faith along the way. And that would be, again, the first group. But the message is the same to both of you. The truth is that everything you need is on the way. You're not starting a business because you want all of the money up front for it, but you haven't started moving your feet. You haven't sought out investors. You haven't tried to sell anything. You haven't taken a job or a second job in order to begin to stack money on the side. You haven't done anything different that is going to allow you to begin to move forward into being able to start that business. And others of you have gone to 10 investors because that's the route you want to take and that you feel in your heart that you need to go. And you're getting a little rejection fatigue because all 10 of them have said no, but you need to ask another 10, and you might need to ask 100. But no matter who I'm talking to, the reality is that everything you need is on the way. The thing that you're looking for is on the way. You cannot just stand there, and you cannot quit. It's on the way. The health you need, the help you need, or insurance of your success, the friendship. And I'll just put a pin right there to say, some of you are asking for friends and won't actually leave the house ever, or asking for a mate and won't do anything to step towards receiving one. I prayed a good bit about a wife before I got one, but she didn't knock on my door. I was actively moving in life, doing what it was that I did at the time, career-wise, and I met her along the way. And I'm telling you, that's how this thing works. You will only get it along the way. All the things that you're looking for, that you're saying, where is it? It's not coming to you. It's along the way. It's on the way. While you're on the way, it's on the way. You won't just get it standing there. You'll find it on your way. Let me say that there's two different types of tragedies that we see all too often that nobody needs to be comfortable with. One tragedy involves the person who sits and waits for everybody to approve what they're doing. They sit and wait for the help to come to them. They sit and wait for everybody to jump on their bandwagon before they can pull off and leave on their journey. They sit and wait to feel smart enough. They sit and wait to feel confident enough. They sit and wait to feel comfortable enough with the journey. and they end up never moving and therefore never being able to see anything happen in their life that they supposedly wanted. And I say supposedly because I believe half of you just say you want something because it's popular, like entrepreneurship or a business or a mansion on a hill or two-story house with a picket fence, two dogs and two kids and a wife, whatever. Just because you're trying to keep up with other people and want to fit in and you don't really mean it. So that's why I say supposedly want. But there are others of you who really do want that. And then even if you're not stating what you want, there is something that you want and that you dream for out of life. And you don't ever do it. You don't ever see it because you were waiting for the things to come to you. And then the second tragedy involves the person that started on their way and got weary and gave up and lost hope and gave up just a little bit too soon. You couldn't take all of the rejection. You couldn't take all of the failure because that's how you painted it in your mind as failure. And it's not failure. It's just lessons. It's just growth. And you need to change your mind. But you gave up just a little bit too soon. You know, I hear a lot of stories that are great metaphors for what I'm saying about people digging for oil and or digging for treasure. And you see a lot of pictures drawn online and things like that that kind of show the essence of what I'm saying in picture form. But they all describe this same situation to where if you dig just a little bit deeper, to where if you would have went just a little bit farther, you could have seen everything that you hoped for, that you dreamed for, that at one point you believed for. I want to bring to your attention that some people don't get to where they want to go until they're 40, 50, 60, 80, sometimes years old in life. And if you don't have the type of endurance that can pull you through 30 years, which means you've probably only been going after a dream for 5 to 7. If that's the case, I would question where your mind is, what you believe success really is, and how long you really thought it was going to take. And I've said it earlier, it's up to us people who talk, who present ideas and perspectives and challenge your way of thinking to help you to realize that true success takes a long time. And that if you're not doing whatever you're doing for the love of it, because you're willing to push through and endure through hardship, through rejection, through loss to get to an expected end, then you're not going to make it. My wife told me recently about a lady who was talking about what it took for her to build her business. And a lot of people were on her, I think, Instagram Live at the time. And they were asking her questions and also sharing their stories to a certain degree, but they were really just wondering how she made it. And they were talking about themselves saying, you know, it's really hard for me. I just can't seem to do this. I just can't seem to get over this. And I just can't seem to accomplish this. And after a while, I think it might have become a little bit frustrating to her to where she just had to get to a point and say, listen, this thing cannot be on you. It's got to be in you, which means you're not going to get there just talking about it. This has to be something that you live and breathe, that is coming from the inside of you truly in order that you manifest it on the outside. Again, this is not a competitive race. You're not going to be able to kill somebody on their genuine journey and you're just trying to copy and compete with them because that's an example of something not being in you. The fact that you're competing in the first place lets me know that whatever it is that you're doing is not something that's on the inside of you. It's something that you're trying to carry on you, the weight of somebody else's dream. You don't even know what they're going after. You're just competing and you lose that way in life. But nonetheless, it has to be in you. Another saying that comes to mind was from T.D. Jakes, who said that success is always on the other side of pain. And this might not be exactly verbatim, but essentially, success is always on the other side of pain because that's God's way of keeping the intruders out. So your success is always going to be on the other side of pain. And if you are not ready to fight a long fight in order to see it, you'll never get there. Those are the two types of tragedies that we see all the time. Somebody never starts, they never move because they have bad expectations about how to get to where they supposedly want to go. And other people just give up way too soon, not understanding that this is an endurance race and you have to be in it for the long haul in order to see anything. The reward for getting the work done is getting more work. And so you have to see it that way in order to continue to travel, to traverse through what it is you need to in order to get where you're going. But the point is, all of those things that you're saying that you want, all of the things that you're asking, where is it about? It is on the way. It's not where you are, it's on the way there to the ultimate goal. So let's talk about the ultimate goal for a second or two. or ultimate success. In recent private conversations, I've been describing success a lot as a destination, although success could not really be defined too much as a destination. Because in the same way that I said that the reward for getting work done is getting more work, many times the reward for accomplishing one dream is a whole nother dream opening up to you. It's getting another dream. So the true goal is to find out who you are, to become everything that you are. And that could happen through a number of goals, through a number of success points in your life. But with that being said, I've been describing ultimate success as a destination point that you need to put in your GPS, your internal GPS, so that it can navigate you to that point. Now, the reason I've been using that example is to point out first that you have to know what you want. By calling it a destination or describing it that way, it forces you to know exactly what you want. I've heard it said before that when you don't fight for what you don't want will automatically take over. And this happens a lot of times in the lives of us who cannot seem to make up our own minds about what it is we want. And that could be for a number of reasons that I won't go into today. But the second reason that I describe it this way is to also emphasize that success just doesn't happen, but that it's something that you need to be on the way to. First of all, you need to figure out exactly what it is that you want as a person. And then you need to put that destination, those coordinates in your internal GPS and map your way there. And just like in real life, you can run into roadblocks, you can run into detours, you can run into storms, and a number of unexpected trials or things that will test your patience along the way. But ultimately, if you keep going, you'll get there. My point is that for too long, many of you have thought that success was some haphazard, unintentional thing, that it's something that just finds you, that you want specific things, again, whatever your it is. When you say, where is it? You want those certain things and are just hoping, some of you praying, some of you wishing, with hands clenched, down on your knees, eyes tightly shut, trying to make it appear as if you're doing a magic trick. For too long, you've seen success as just some stroke of luck. For too long, you've seen it as for some people and not for others. And for you, success has never been on its way. And that's because either you've been bamboozled into thinking or you've just mistakenly thought that when others have said that what you want, what you've dreamed for, what you've hoped for, everything you could ever want and need is on its way, you always saw it as those things coming towards you, and you never rightly saw it as you going towards those things. Again, use the success as a destination that you have to put into your internal GPS. It's only on the way because you're going to it, not because it's coming towards you. And this is a quote unquote secret that many people don't talk to you and that you see all the time. When you see the movie star who grew up in the small town that needed to move to Hollywood, or you saw the artist or the painter that needed to move across the state to go pursue their art career, or you saw the country singer that needed to go to Nashville. And these places are all in America, by the way, if you're outside of that. Sorry, I can only properly give American examples right now for the most part. But you saw the tech guru move to Silicon Valley to build a startup with his friends or with her friends. You've seen people do this over and over again, not really understanding that that was their leap of faith. And the way that they understood that what they wanted was on the way was that they needed to be on their way in order to see it. And this is the new understanding that you need to bring into your life, that it's only on the way. Success, fulfillment, the dream, whatever you could hope and dream for is only on the way if you're on your way to it. And you have to understand, even if you're the one moving towards it, it's still on its way. It's not a play on words. It is, but only if you only saw it one way. A lot of people have only always taught that when you say it's on its way, that means something is coming towards you. You know, you call the friend and say, I'm on the way to your house. That means you're going to them. But they could also rightly say that your house is on the way to them as they're traveling towards it. It's one and the same. And that's how you have to begin to see success. It's not on its way because the house is going to up and move to where you are. It's on its way when you move towards the house. It's on its way. Again, going back to the Mario example, I know I'm talking about ultimate success now, which for him would be the princess and the life happily ever after with her. That was on its way as he was on his way to it. It's on its way. That's what I'm telling you today. That's my entire message, that it's on its way, but only if you're on the way to it. It's not going to happen the other way around. You've understood it wrong for too long, and nobody's taught you that you need to walk towards it. And it's still on its way, but it's because you're on your way. So you need to begin to walk towards it, and all the health, all the wealth, all the business ventures, all the new jobs or the dream job, the wife, the husband, the kids, whatever it is that you want, it's on the way. You cannot be stagnant, get bitter, and blame the world for not coming upon something that you never walked towards. And let me say this lastly, that there are so many of you who are walking in wrong directions, and I'm sorry this happens to you because it comes from bad teachings from manipulators and things like that. But I'll give it to you in this way. Some of you are planting orange seeds and hoping that an apple tree springs up. And that's an analogy to say that you want your health to get better. So you're doing everything but dieting and exercising, expecting to look and feel better. Some of you want, again, a dream job or a better position, and you're doing everything but increasing your knowledge, grafting new levels of learning into your life and things like that to better educate yourself, better prepare yourself, better challenge yourself, just to do better with the job you have or in the space that you have now that would make sense towards getting you to a place to where that dream job is something that you could handle or that you're prepared for. Instead, you are either sitting and waiting and just hoping somehow that something's going to happen, or you're doing all the wrong things again, and you're just trying to manipulate your way, sucking up to people and trying to get into positions that you're not prepared for, that you can't handle, things like that. And I see this a lot, to be honest, within religious settings too. And it doesn't make sense because you'll say to yourself, I sure want a business. I wish I could have a business of my own. But you'll go about it in a way of trying to say, oh, well, if I put my money into this offering pan or give this to this preacher or anything like that, somehow that's going to twist God's arm into just dropping a business on you somehow out of nowhere. Again, rather than growing yourself, rather than investing money into your own self, instead of going about it in a manipulative way in which you feel like you're going to, again, twist God's arm into doing something for you. You're investing in everything but yourself. And this just doesn't make sense. This is often taught by manipulative people, and you take it on as if it's going to work, and it just doesn't work that way. So when I say that success is on its way because you're on your way towards it, and if you're not on your way towards it, it's not on its way. I'm specifically saying that you have to be going in an intentional direction towards it, that you cannot be trying to get to California and headed towards New York. I hope that makes sense. I won't waste a lot of time on that. But listen, you got to do what makes sense. Really think about this. If you want to write a book, then you have to do the work, endure the process that's necessary in order to truly write a book. You don't go about it some roundabout way to where you don't have to work and things like that. Again, those are manipulative ways that have probably been taught to you by people who don't know how to go about success truly and can't really have anything for themselves. And you don't need to follow that way without the proof or fruit, honestly, of the essence of something real or substantive in their life, etc. But again, for all of you people who have been asking in your life right now, where is it? I've been seeing everybody else get this and get that. And although it's not good to compare yourself amongst one another, it's not good for us to compare ourselves to each other. You've done it and you're wondering, where is it? Seems like everybody else is getting what they want and they desire. And it's been taking me a long time. I've been on this journey and during this process for a long time. Where is it? That's my answer to you. It's on the way. And it's not on the way if you're not on your way towards it. Trust me, it's on the way. If you're tired, endure. If you're stagnant, you need to move or else it'll never be on its way. Again, I know it wasn't taught to you the right way. You thought when somebody said it's on the way, that meant you could stand still and it's going to find and come to you. But that's not how this works. It will only be on the way when you're on your way. It's still on the way, but it's just not coming the way you thought it would. It's on its way because you're on your way towards it. It's on the way. Listen, I want to thank you for listening. Today, I hope I've said something that you can add to your daily life that's going to help you get wherever it is that you're trying to go, that you are able to lead a life that is full of fulfillment, that you're able to live the dream. Share, support if you can, and keep listening. We've got more, lots more. Again, I'm Brian Farr, and it is my desire that through this, that you be able to prosper. And until next time.